Hey guys, and welcome back to COMPUTEX 2025. And yes, we have Edwin from ASRock. He'll be joining us today. We're talking about some stuff with AI, because that's what the topic is about for COMPUTEX 2025. AI next. So Edwin, how's the COMPUTEX been so far for you guys?
Always been busy, but I think very, very successful.
Yeah. Well, I noticed you have this massive ASRock kind of logo banner thing above everyone else. It's the highest kind of logo up there.
Yeah,
it's the first time, I think, right?
it's the first time.
Yeah.
I think that makes people easier to find our booth.
That's true, because you're walking through it. There's so many people. There's so many like logos and brands and everything, and you get just swamped. But then there's suddenly you can see this ASRock right up there top. You can't miss it. So that's really good. Okay, so actually there's a help with bringing foot traffic over.
Of course, yeah.
Wow, because I just went to get you, and it was like everybody everywhere, grabbing people from ASRock all over the place. I want to see this. I want to see that.
And also our booth this year is bigger.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. Yeah. Because last year you said you wished you had bigger booth space last year, right? And this now you got much better. Because you're doing not just consumer DIY stuff. Now we have a dedicated area for servers.
Yeah.
Of course, with AI and servers, stuff like that. So, how's that business? It's a separate business, right?
It's a separate business, company.
ASRock Rack. ASRock Rack. Okay.
Yeah.
And with that, it's have you noticed if his business has increased because of AI?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think AI last year ASRock Rack has their most successful year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and this year I think they already surpassed all the record.
Break records and surpassed their expectations and that. Okay. So, is that where ASRock is going to be mainly focused on now? Are they going to continue?
ASRock Rack, they will always be focusing on the servers, but for us, will still be the old business, the graphics card, the motherboards, those stuff.
Yeah. Right. Because I'm talking about, I noticed over the last couple of months, this past half a year, I guess, AMD has just skyrocketed. Those Radeon cards are selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Because they're like good value. They beat the GeForce 50 series, the mid-range ones, of course, the 5070s. The Radeon cards are just killing them. Has that been an increase in AMD-related products?
Of course, the motherboard are also selling very, very well, and also the CPUs, the AM5 CPUs are very, very successful.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's because of the X3D chip that everyone is talking about, right?
Yeah.
You get like more than decent performance, beats the Intel.
Yep.
And it's like $400, $500 for that chip, rather than paying like $800 for a chip for an Intel, and you're getting like
less performance.
Yeah. Okay.
Makes no sense, right? So do you believe that this is the a result of the long-term hiring practices of ASRock to have a younger generation come into their own and then start to influence the taste and preferences and also the decision-making? Maybe a little bit, maybe not?
I'm not sure about that, because AMD are going strong is more of the performance of their products.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all merit based. Literally the benchmarks show it all, right?
Like a lot of the youngsters, they don't look at brands as in loyal to the brands. A lot of youngsters, they see performance, price, and they just go for it, right? When I was younger, I remember back in the day when you're doing like old overclocking and you have to do the pins, we bought AMD chips because they were cheap.
They were very cheap.
And they were overclockable, and we did that because that's what youngsters used to do. Whereas all the professional corporate guys just go for Intel because they got whatever. It's just the software is optimized for Intel and that. But nowadays, software optimization is it's not really a big thing now, right? Because the chips are be able to do it.
With all the open API standards that are set today, it's basically whoever can push those standards and APIs the farthest. And because everyone, clearly they all program for the same languages, doesn't matter which platform you go to because everyone adheres to the same standards. Now it's down to the drag race. Who has the best motor? Who has the most cylinders? Who has the most efficiency while driving those cylinders, right? I mean, there's clear winners and losers in the space at the moment. And unfortunately, a company like ASRock has to be stuck in the middle because they have to service both Intel and AMD.
Yep, that's true.
But, like the people in the division that do Intel, they're a little bit sadder these days. right?
Intel actually has they noticed their weakness, but I think actually they are already starting to fight back by reducing the price of their CPU.
Yeah, they need to do something, whether it's price reductions or improving on their next gen of chips, wherever that's going to be out.
Yeah, because the main thing for Intel right now is, or I mean, in the past, the price point is not correct.
Didn't you say AMD is now over like 90% of like
on some countries? Yes.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Well done, AMD, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think we're launching. Is it tomorrow or soon? Are they going to do the kind of mainstream gaming card? Was that the next one? Was it the 9060?
96. I think AMD is having a keynote this morning.
Oh right. So
or after, I'm not sure, but
so that's going to be happening. So watch out, guys, for some Radeon 9060 mainstream gaming card.
Yeah.
Being priced at very attractively, probably sub 300, maybe ish. So. See, that's where AMD really revels because it's like the price. Nobody's going to afford like $1,000 graphics card. I mean, or you can if you've got the money, but for an average gamer who's on a tight budget, you want to build a gaming PC kind of sub 1,000. You get a whole gaming system for 1,000, or you get just the graphics card for 1,000.
It really seems very I don't know. It seems offensive these days that you can't buy a good system for under $1,000, heck, even under $2,000, because $2,000 is already your GPU.
Oh, that's the big one, yeah.
In some cases, right? Yeah. They have the best, right? And like you can't build a good system you can't build a how should I say, a future-proof system for under $1,000 these days, because in the next generation it's going to be like 5x, 2x better performance, and then all of a sudden I can't play anything, right? I might as well just go buy a console. Right?
Yeah, I think one of the things that really kind of like for a lot of the people, especially with gamers, that it's like people say, and Nvidia is like cheating. They're doing like fake frames with the DLSS, with the AI stuff. I'm thinking, well, I guess the game is optimized, and they have drivers to go with that. Because if you don't have the game and the drivers to go with the game, then the DLSS won't work. So that's why people peed off with the 5070 series, because they're not performing as expected, like without all that stuff on.
Well, in some games, right?
In some games,
some
games,
anything with physics.
Yeah,
they just forgot about it. It's like they forgot. Oh well.
Then they say, we've got to be adding more games to the DLSS range, catalog, whatever. But the AMD, they don't have that. They just raw performance.
Yeah, horsepower, right?
Raw power. Yeah.
Although to Nvidia's credit, they did support over like the cards, their drivers support all the way back to GTX 960 series. Those drivers went all the way back. Yeah. They've only finally shut down.
All right.
The support for those
GTX
now,
series, right.
So that's a long time.
I guess, yeah.
That's like Apple levels of support.
Yeah, and I think
for firmware.
What I've also found out is AMD drivers are getting better and better. They are.
That's good too.
They're better than way better compared to like old days.
Because when you load up the NVIDIA drivers, the driver configuration page, it does just suck. But the AMD has a full GUI. Tells you your temperatures, your speeds, and fan speeds, and everything. You can just select the option, whatever. It's just so good to use now these days. It could improve even more, maybe. So definitely.
Driver support is good, and also we're hoping that Battle Mage.
That's Intel, right?
Intel, yeah.
Yeah, because you support that as well, right?
And we have Intel cards, yes.
Intel cards. The new version is going to be.
The new release has 24 gigabytes of VRAM optimized for AI.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people want more like VRAM is one of the bottlenecks.
That's a question I'll ask you, Edwin. Right. So with all this AI stuff, can you get like motherboards that support extra graphics cards? Like for example, if I buy a gaming board from ASRock and it has PCI slots, right?
Yeah.
Can I actually put other graphics card in there, not just for gaming, but for the AI stuff? Can I just do that? Or do I have to buy a specific board to put extra graphics cards in there?
No. Any board can support.
All right. So as long as it has a PCI slot spare, I could put another graphics card in there, and then.
I'm not sure about two graphics cards, but yeah.
Or mixing them. I mean, obviously, you want them to be the same series.
Same
It's like
series.
an SLI because it's like think of your brain for a second, like that. You'll have all mixed match. How is that going to work?
I don't think that would work.
It's not optimal. I'm
Right.
sure that people do that
Okay.
to bring different loads to different cards for different NIMs and agents and everything like that.
Yeah,
They could
yeah.
probably one
Right.
works better than on one, just like a different LLM works better for photos, or one does better generation of images, or one does better
Right.
better slogans for your next ASRock campaign, right? So, speaking of which, that's something that we should actually talk about. We've talked about AI. AI next is basically the theme of COMPUTEX
COMPUTEX, yeah.
2025. But like a lot of companies out there, they sell AI, but they seldom actually use it. Eat their own dog food, as they say in North America. ASRock is one of those companies that actually is capitalizing on that internally. Can you share some of the successes that you've actually had with AI and how ASRock capitalizes on it to make the lives of your employees better?
Well, I think AI now is still in the very beginning of the stage, so some of the function or features not that ready yet. But I think it is already can benefit our work. Not replace your work, but benefit from it.
And increase productivity and
efficiency.
efficiencies.
Yeah, we go home earlier or something like that.
Go home on time, right?
Yeah.
Home on time.
Yeah. Because I think one of the things too is payroll is definitely one of the big things that suck a lot of revenue out of the company. But at the same time, though, if your employees are always clocking in overtime, that's not efficient. Right?
Yeah.
If you can keep your company running 9 to 5 and then having your AI, your
Do some
intelligent
assistance.
your intelligent assistants running after the hours. By the time you get in the morning, your dashboard's already filled. You have your
True.
to-do list and everything. And you just
All that data
fairness,
processing
right?
and things like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
and then your assistant is already dynamically rescheduled your schedule because 2 people have canceled appointments, rescheduled them already, and you're good.
That's true because I'm getting bookings online, whatever. I'm putting like appointments, and I'm canceling them, or someone's cancelled on me, but it never gets rearranged properly. So I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, we have a
It's
meeting.
empty slots.
We have a
Yeah.
meeting. But if an AI can automatically readjust and kind of reschedule it, that would be really good.
Yeah, it's one of the things that AI actually can do, and it depends on the tools. Like, do you guys use a dynamic calendar rescheduling?
Not yet.
Because that would be killer.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
But I think we definitely should have a try because COMPUTEX meeting for us is like chaos.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, chaos.
I had to grab him out and say, "Hey, Edwin, no, he's mine. I got him for 30 minutes."
Sometimes I have a meeting, I have a media appointment, and oh my god, why are you guys colliding? I don't know how that happened.
someone scheduled you wrong.
Yeah.
All right, so it has improved on the workspace that you're doing, and more options are going to be improved, including some of the calendar stuff you possibly
Calendar
could do,
stuff
right?
and like some like grammar checking or
Yeah.
some ideas generating, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you did mention that. Like, AI is actually helping you craft better, focused, more potentially more creative in some ways, but you always put your own spin on it. Slogans and also verbiage for a lot of your marketing.
Yeah.
How much time is that actually saving you guys, like versus before and after? What's the before state and after state?
I think we used to like spend maybe up to a day generating a just a slogan
Okay.
to put on a poster
Okay.
because everybody's like, I have no idea.
Of course.
I have nothing. Yeah.
We need coffee.
Yeah, I have nothing.
Get some ideas going
Just
on.
walk around for a little bit.
But now with AI, you can be able to generate a ton of slogans just like that, and
like seconds.
and then just pick the one that you think is currently
or
matches.
maybe just rearrange the wording. At least you have something to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask, what does all this AI stuff? Because a lot of people don't understand. Is it a graphical interface or is it just text based?
I think a bit of both
Bit of
because we do see some GUI stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It has a window.
Window.
You have some buttons. Yeah.
Right.
Those are coming into a trend.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
for
yeah.
now, it's mostly still like text.
Text,
Something
yeah,
like
that's what I thought, yeah.
ChatGPT, something
Yeah,
like that.
understand. Because once you have a more graphical interface where people can see it visually, or I could input here, input there, generate here, then it gets more engaging.
Yeah.
Rather than just typing the text and thinking, okay. But that makes sense. That's probably the next step.
And it's still like the second year of AI booming. Still a long way to go.
I mean,
Yeah.
people, if you want to use it effectively, you should basically be talking to it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the
That's
natural
the next.
interface.
Yeah, that would be the
Voice recognition.
Yeah, voice.
So think about an AI worker. An AI worker is basically like a regular worker, right? You still have to onboard them with your data, with your tasks, schedules, and everything like that. And then at the end, what you want to do is you want to engage them with them in a way that is natural. So that you're not texting the guy beside you at your desk. You're talking.
You're
to
talking
that
to
person,
the
right?
yeah.
So the most natural way for you to integrate and have them part of your mini team is to actually talk to them and tell them, my 5 o'clock just called. They can't make it. Can you reschedule something that is better suited for my time during that day? And then they optimize your day and get you out of there by 5 o'clock, right? I mean, that should be what they're assisting you with,
Yeah.
right?
That's like Jarvis. From
For Iron Man.
I mean, even Jensen said that 100% of the NVIDIA workforce, all of them, will be AI assisted by the end of this year, 2025.
All of this stuff.
Every single one of them will have something helping them with their scheduling. So whether or not they have something come up, they need to cancel their meeting in their schedule. Show me my schedule. I can't make that. Can you reschedule that one for later on and check with the other schedule and see if that's what's happening? Because those agents will talk behind the scenes to help you optimize your day.
Yeah, There's many AI bots, I suppose you can.
Yeah, NIMS, different versions of Jensen. So scheduling Jensen, right? Math Jensen, right? You know, all of them, right? Just helping you out in the behind the scenes, right? Because I think that we're so busy these days that we've become a bit of a workaholic culture, but we don't have to have that because most of the stuff that keeps us in the office is actually busy work.
Yeah.
Right. And we don't want to do that anymore, right?
You know, there's times where I'd be sitting in front of the desk and I'm thinking something to write. I can't think of anything. And I could be there and I'm just procrastinating, just looking at phones and maybe twiddling, whatever. That time, it could be half an hour, it could be an hour. And I go around and make a coffee and then wasting more time. That time could be used for getting the AI just to assist. I mean, even if it starts a paragraph, I can work on that.
Yeah.
And that's why you want to talk to it. Because if you have an AI agent, like ASRock's probably a little bit further along in this, where you have AI in servers logging a lot of the information, the databases of your employees. Their agents are much more intelligent than the generic agent that you check. Because also it's free. You don't pay for it.
Yes, right.
The only versions that you get where they have some sort of memory are the paid versions, right?
Yeah.
So they're not as good, right?
Yeah.
But because these guys have ASRacks.
ASRock.
They can store that data on-prem and that's private, right? So then that way they can draw, ChatGPT can draw from that database and know exactly how Edwin works.
Yeah.
Right.
Another thing I want to ask, what's more important, having in a system, if you want to run AI, is it a GPU with more VRAM or just system with more RAM or SSD?
VRAM and also RAM, both.
Okay, so more traditional DIMM RAM as well as a GPU with lots of VRAM. That would help.
GPU, a lot of VRAM, definitely is most.
So we should be seeing some graphics card with like 64 gigs, 120 gigs of VRAM.
Oh, it's very important. In fact, even companies like I haven't seen their solution up close yet. I saw it briefly at GTC, where Jensen claims the future in the next 5 years. Here's your roadmap, ASRock. Please build these. Then you're prepared, because he's that's good because he's like, I give you the roadmap so you can follow us. You don't have to surprise. So that's why they do that. But anyhow, companies there like Phison, they're actually building SSDs that have the ability to mimic graphics VRAM.
Oh, so hold on. SSDs can become VRAM.
Do you have that?
I think that didn't.
It's hush, I suppose.
It didn't work. Okay.
I think.
Well, maybe they need to work on the interface or
it's
whatever.
Something at the kernel level that they do where it basically offloads to the Phison and brings it back.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. I'm sure they're working on something, but
what's it called? AI adaptive. That's what they call it.
Yeah. That's what they call it.
AI adaptive. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So increasing VRAM helps. If you're running, you mentioned that a lot of people now back in the day we used to do modding and building PCs and DIY and stuff like that, and they used to build computers just for SETI and folding at home.
Oh yes,
and then Steve said, no, they're building PCs for LLMs and language models, and
Yeah.
so it's, they're using that or building PCs for that now. And for a person at home, for example, I want to play with a little bit of AI, learning language models and stuff like that. I can actually build a PC and just leave it there and kind of like do its AI stuff, right?
You could.
Yeah.
You could, yeah.
Because you're not be able to afford a H100 or a
H200 is $30,000 US. You could not afford that. That's a
exactly.
car.
Yeah, I don't think you guys can afford
Yeah.
it. But for a PC with a decent GPU with lots of VRAM, I suppose you can just use that. And
That's
build.
what Intel's targeting. They want to put out in because ASRock is a partner and they'll sell some of these to the right market. Is that they have 24 gigabytes of VRAM on board? That's unprecedented for a card that is under $1,000.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Another thing I want to ask: AMD, Intel, or Nvidia? Which ones are good for AI? Like you said, for VRAM and stuff.
Well,
like that.
the obvious answer is NVIDIA. They're the king.
All right.
But
Okay.
what's second?
What's second? Is that going to be AMD or
I mean, we
Intel?
made both cards, so I would say both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying, because is there one card performs better in AI, or is it all different? Any graphics card. I mean, in other words, if I want to save money, do I just go for the Intel cards? For
Well, it depends on the application, right? As with anything, you know, if you need something that's heavily VRAM dependent, you're gonna need something with more VRAM. You're not going to buy a 5090 that has 24 gigabytes of VRAM.
I guess you probably answered my question because Nvidia's like top on top.
They're
of
the
it,
king,
right?
but
Yeah,
it's
the
also
king,
a $2,000 US graphics card versus an Intel Arc with 24 gigabytes of VRAM on board, right? You have to pick your battles, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Wow, it's, AI is it's a hot battleground right now, isn't it? With all this AI business, and manufacturers like you, ASRock, are kind of like get in the middle of it and trying to support the users as much as they can.
Well, you're in a unique position because you make everything, right?
You make everything.
We make everything. So.
Yeah, like even in the presentation, Jensen gave a shout out to ASRock.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it's in the credits.
Oh wow! So ASRock is one of the probably major big partners.
They're a
with,
huge player. Yeah, absolutely. They're
I didn't know
one of the many.
I didn't know
huge
that
players.
because I know ASRock Rack has always been around for like the last 4 or 5 years, building up the business, and then suddenly that's big AI boom. Last year they had a nice big section of your booth, and this year probably have a bigger section, and stuff like that. So I want to ask, what about the chassis that you using? Are you using like your own or using other?
No, that's outsourced.
Outsourced.
Yeah.
Outsourced. Okay. Because I know some case manufacturers and they just doing the chassis and they have to be specific specifications, especially with the cooling and everything.
Yeah.
So
Well, ASRock makes the hardware, right? The PCBs and everything like that. They might even make the multiplexers and everything like that for their own chassis. But friends out in the industry, and I can name several. That's what they're specializing in, right?
Yeah.
So someone needs to encase it. Someone needs to build the cooling system to put that all in. It's not necessarily what they do. It's just they have the specifications that they want to do, and they want to do it a different way, right? I mean, we can already name off Delta, like Cooler Master. They would be making those cold plates for all the the GD200s and everything like that. The Blackwells and stuff like that, right? But they are the ones that engineer the entire solution and assemble it, and then they ship it.
So as Edwin, tell me, I've heard ASRock, well, other brands as well. They're releasing, I won't say dedicated, but another catalog of boards, mainstream boards for consumers, dedicated for X3D chips for AMD. Is that right? They have that for the AMD with the X3D, because I think for better optimization and stuff like that, right? So
I never heard that, but because I think all of our M5 board supports in X3D chips. So
just with the BIOS update, right?
yeah.
Yeah. That's a good thing about AMD is if you just update your BIOS and you can run with a new chip.
For the most part, yeah.
You don't have to run because with the Intel is you got the Z70, right? Which Z790, right? Which is what a lot of people have previous generation.
Yes.
And if you want to go for the next generation, you have to change your board, which I think I mentioned last year.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to do that. It's a pain in the ass, right?
That's why they're having a problem right now. Like,
And with AMD boards, if you have the older series, the 600 series,
600 series, yeah.
700, and now the new 800 series, you can just update the BIOS and then
You get
the new chips.
and you get the new chip support. So AMD
But
killing it.
that's not so good for motherboard manufacturer. They can't sell more boards.
Well, the technology, like let's say 600 series boards, is like very, very old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't get that much new technology. Like
So it's not optimized, but
yeah,
it's still running.
you can still run it, but
Yeah.
I mean, you still want to maybe change up to a 800 series just for all the new features.
All the new
Something
features.
like USB 4.
USB 4.
Yeah, a lot more Type C, more M.2s, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So this might, it's actually, so in your opinion, and I'm just, extrapolating, it might not be a bad thing because, yes, just because you can upgrade the BIOS to get the chip to work,
Yeah.
You might actually, in theory, have actually encouraged that person to upgrade the board anyway because they see how much they're actually not getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really good.
Yeah.
That's very consumer friendly.
Yeah. Well, for example, front Type C.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like 3 years ago, not a lot of chassis have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for now, it's a standard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Everybody has a front USB-C now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Has to be.
So if you have a system like 3 years ago, you have to climb back to your PC to plug
Yeah.
in your
Or get a
Type-C drive.
USB hub, which just
Yeah. And now one of them is live because it's PD.
Yeah.
power delivery. Yeah. Power
Yeah.
delivery. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking about PD, all of our new XA70 refresh motherboard here actually in our booth
Yeah.
supports the PD
Power
power
delivery.
delivery for the front Type C up
Yeah.
to 36 watt.
You have no idea how often I use that. Like I charge pretty much everything for my
yeah.
PC.
Tablet,
Yeah.
phones, and everything.
Phones, tablets. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. Yeah. That's very handy to have.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The only thing that would make it even better is if ASRock actually put a pad that could stick to any PC case and would actually charge.
Oh, the
That would be
wireless
awesome.
charging. Yeah. Wireless charging. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Idea.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Okay. Great. So, Edwin, any last words? And how do you think this COMPUTEX will be for you for ASRock? Is it better than last year's?
Or
Let's
better
say
yet, because this is AI next this year. What's AI next?
next.
I don't know.
Next square. Next square.
Ask AI.
Ask AI.
Ask AI. Hey,
Ask AI.
AI. ChatGPT. What's going to be next year? Oh, great. So, thank you, Edwin, for
Thank you.
spending time with us at the our podcast show, COMPUTEX 2025. And I hope you have a great COMPUTEX. And it'll be AI next for you.
Next.
For us as well.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Edwin.
Thank you.
All right, guys. See you soon.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.